It is one of the best days of the year. Selection Sunday. We now have the brackets, Brett. We can see the matchups. They're coming. The playoffs start. The road to Ford Field will be here in just a couple of days. You know, some things that jumped out to us. Let's start in Division II. How about Byron Center? Great draw, right? We all thought they were going to get thrown into that Mona Shores Forest Hill Central District, which is very tough. They're going to go south. Still a tough district, but they're the 1 seed, which means potentially 2 home games.
And remember, geography is a big part of this. And when you look at it, South Christian has gone south before. It just depends on how many teams get in and where they are geographically located. In this case, it was Traverse City Central. What do they do with them in Division II? So then Byron Center was the beneficiary. I love it. I never saw Byron Center coming as a number 1 seed, but kudos to them. You look at their 2 losses. I mean, Forest Hill Central was unbeaten, and Granville out of the OK Red, they played up in that game.
Well, and it's awesome because Waddell Field is such a great environment for high school football. So you love to see games there. I'll tell you what, Portage Northern and Kane Mac, I think that's going to be a really good game on Friday night.
And you look at the bottom part of that, right? It also makes sense that East Lansing, a very good team coming over. Battle Creek Central and Byron Center played overtime back in week 1, and that was a heck of a ball game.
How about Division III? There were so many teams in our area. How was it all going to shake out? Of course, we were following Snooze to Use picks. You know, the MHSA went a little different direction. So Lowell goes to Zeeland West. They go west as opposed to east. Muskegon does not go in the same district as Zeeland West. What do you think of what we see here in Division III?
A lot of rematches from a year ago, right? Because remember, it was St. Joe who knocked out Zeeland West and shocked people in week 1. They could meet in a district final. We know about Cedar Springs. What a great win last year over Muskegon at Hackley Stadium. That could happen again. And you know what? I love this setup in the fact of at 5-4, Cedar Springs could still take care of their own business. And I'm telling you, they're a team that is dangerous. When you give them a playoff life like that, Cedar Springs, we've seen it. They've won 5 straight games. I mean, I wouldn't want to play them.
How about Division IV? You know, we're all pointing towards this Whitehall South Christian matchup. When's it going to happen? Who's the better team? Should it happen, it'll be in the regional final.
And I think the team that's really looking at that and saying, what happened to us? We didn't get a good draw. It was Forest Hills Eastern, right? They thought they might be going north. Didn't happen. They're in the all-Christian district, right? Unity Christian, South Christian, Grand Rapids Christian, and there's great rivalries there. But you look at it, I mean, South Christian, wherever they were going to go, I mean, I think they're one of the better teams in the area, and they proved that out, being perfect at 9-0. The way they handled, I think, a very deep OK Gold. The Sailors, the team to beat there, and if it happens, South Christian Whitehall, because we always build them up and then sometimes they don't happen, I think that's a heck of a football game. If you're a high school football fan out there, you got to get to that one, just like we said with Rockford and Caledonia.
Well, and potentially a beneficiary is Hastings at 8-1, 3rd straight I-8 championship. The Saxons are in Region 2. They're the number 1 seed in their district. Should they get to a regional final, maybe Edwardsburg. We could see Hastings potentially get to a state semifinal against the South Christian Whitehall winner. But, of course, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. We're starting with round 1 this week. We're fired up for it. Megan, back to you.